we go. All right, so we've already done the first one with the blending. The next one is colored pencil. So colored pencils are in your cubby. Pick a color, and you want to show value here. And this is going to be exactly the same as showing value with a regular pencil. So to create your darks, you press a little harder, you layer going in a different direction, and that's how you create a dark value. Okay? And then you just keep getting lighter as you go, creating that value scale, dark to light. Okay, now when you shade with a pencil or a colored pencil, really try to make sure you get into these little edges. A lot of us kind of forget the edges here. That really takes an artwork from looking sloppy to looking nice if you take the time to fill in those edges. Okay, so you guys will just grab a colored pencil and show me a value scale using a colored pencil. That one's pretty easy because you've already essentially done that. Now we're just showing it with color. Okay, so colored pencil. The next one, charcoal. Next one is charcoal. So charcoal is this stuff, and it is black, and it looks a lot just like chalk. Charcoal and chalk behave a lot like the same way. Okay, so you can essentially just use chalk here. I'm choosing charcoal because professional artists like to use charcoal a lot when they draw and when they show value. So charcoal is like exactly what it sounds like. It's like taking elements of nature and kind of burning it up and forming it into a stick. So this is charcoal. This gets your hands messy. Okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to show dark to light. Again, it's the same process. When you're dark, you're heavier. And you're going to notice little dust is going to form. Okay? You make it lighter. You make it lighter. I'm barely touching it over here, barely. Okay, and charcoal's fun too because you can go back with your finger and you can blend. Okay, so now all this dust, what you don't want to do is pick up your paper and blow it, because then, number one, it might get onto somebody. Number two, then it gets in the air, and that means we're breathing in all that dust, and that's not healthy. So what you do is just take your paper and walk it to a trash can and dump the dust in the trash, okay? Now you see I already got fingerprints everywhere. My hands are smudgy. Charcoal's super messy. So if you feel the need to go wash your hands after you use charcoal, that's fine. I'm just gonna wipe mine on my apron. All right, and then the next one is ink. So ink is, the closest thing that you guys would relate it to is like watercolor paint, but ink is even runnier than watercolor paint. So ink comes to us black. And I'm going to put this paper underneath since ink is a wet media, not a dry media. All right, so you guys will get a little tub of ink. So this is a lot like how Chinese and Japanese artists, they use a lot of ink in their paintings, same stuff. So you want a brush that's appropriate for watercolor when you use ink, so I'm going to use this green-brown brush. Okay, so we can show value using ink. You just need the ink, a brush, and water. So I'm going to dip it in, and I'm going to paint. And it just looks like watercolor paint. Okay, the more you layer on, the darker it's going to get. All right, so now you want to get a little lighter, so I'm going to dip my brush in the water to remove some of that ink. Same thing, I'm going to remove more. If you use too much water, you can get a paper towel to scrape it up, or like I'm doing, I just use the side of my brush. Now, I used too much there. This one's actually darker than this one, so now I have to fix my problem. And this has to go just a little bit darker. And then at the end, you want just mostly water on your brush with just a little bit of ink. And you get a nice light gray. Okay, now ink is really cool because ink can give you little skinny marks. If you dip the whole side of your brush in the ink, you can stamp the brush and it creates like leaves. Okay. So ink is really fun to play with. So that's how you show it with ink. Now, we will do tempera paint and watercolor paint some other day. So today I just want us to focus on colored pencil, charcoal, and ink.